Welcome! Today's story will leave you speechless. Subscribe now and share your reaction in the comments. Here we go. I never thought I'd be one of those wives. You know the type, checking phones, going through messages, becoming paranoid. But here I am, sitting in my car in a Target parking lot at 2 in the afternoon, staring at my husband's text messages, and my entire world is crumbling around me. Let me back up. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 years old, and up until 3 hours ago, I thought I had a pretty good marriage. My husband David and I have been together for 8 years, married for 5. We have a beautiful home in the suburbs, good jobs, and we were even talking about starting a family soon. Everything seemed normal, happy even. But over the past 3 months, something changed. David started working late more often. He'd come home exhausted, barely talk to me, and fall asleep on the couch. When I'd suggest we do something together on weekends, he'd say he was too tired or had to catch up on work. His phone was always face down on the table. He'd take calls in the other room. Classic signs, right? But I trusted him. I told myself I was being paranoid. Then this morning happened. David left for work early, around 6:30. I was still in bed, half asleep, when I heard his phone buzzing on the nightstand. He'd forgotten it. My husband, who never goes anywhere without his phone, had left it at home. I figured I'd drop it off at his office on my way to work. No big deal. But then it buzzed again. And again. I picked it up to silence it, and that's when I saw the lock screen notifications. 3 messages from someone named Mike from accounting. That was weird because David works in marketing, and I'd never heard him mention any Mike. The preview of the last message said, "Can't wait to see you later, thinking about last night." My heart started pounding. I tried to unlock his phone, but I didn't know his passcode. He'd changed it recently, said something about security at work. I sat there for 10 minutes, trying different combinations. Our anniversary, my birthday, his birthday. Nothing worked. Then I remembered. David has a terrible memory for passwords, so he writes them down in a notebook he keeps in his desk drawer. I found it, found the code, and unlocked his phone with shaking hands. I wish I hadn't. The messages with Mike from accounting went back 3 months. But Mike wasn't Mike. It was Michelle. Michelle from his office. The same Michelle he'd casually mentioned a few times. The new girl on his team. The messages started innocent enough. Work stuff. Funny memes. Complaints about their boss. Then, about 6 weeks ago, they shifted. "You looked amazing today. I can't stop thinking about you. My wife went to bed early. Wish you were here." And then, dated just 2 weeks ago. "Last night was incredible. I've never felt this way before. We can't keep doing this, but I don't want to stop." I scrolled and scrolled. There were hundreds of messages, explicit messages, photos, plans to meet at hotels, references to our spot, and when we can finally be together. The most recent message, from this morning at 7:15. "Good morning, handsome. Last night was amazing. See you at lunch, our usual place." That's when I realized he wasn't actually working late all those nights. He was with her. Every late night at the office, every weekend he claimed he had to go in, every time he said he was too tired to spend time with me, he was spending that time with Michelle. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Then I just sat on the bathroom floor, crying, reading through more messages they'd been planning a future together. She'd asked him when he was going to leave me. He'd said, "Soon, I just need to figure out the right time." Soon, he was planning to leave me, and I had no idea. After I don't know how long, I pulled myself together. I took screenshots of everything. Every message, every photo, every damning piece of evidence. I sent them all to my email. Then I put his phone back exactly where he'd left it. I called in sick to work. Then I called my best friend, Jessica. She came over immediately. When she saw the screenshots, she was furious. She wanted to drive to his office right then and confront him, but I stopped her. I needed to think. Jessica helped me make a plan. First, I called a divorce lawyer her cousin had used. I sent him all the evidence. He said with this kind of proof of infidelity, I'd likely get a very favorable settlement. Then I went to our bank and opened a new account, transferring half of our savings into it. While I was doing all this, David texted me from a coworker's phone, asking me to bring his phone to the office. I told him I was sick and couldn't drive, suggested he borrow a phone for the day. He wasn't happy, but what could he say? That evening, when he got home, he acted so normal. He asked how I was feeling, made me soup, told me about his boring day at work. He was such a good liar, I watched him. This man I'd loved for 8 years, and I didn't recognize him anymore. I didn't say anything. Not that night. I waited. The next morning, I told him I was feeling better and would stay home to rest one more day. As soon as he left, I started packing his things. Everything. His clothes, his toiletries, his stupid golf clubs, his books, everything. I put it all in garbage bags and boxes and loaded them into his car, which I had the spare key for. I filled every inch of that car. Then I changed all the locks on our house. I called a locksmith and paid extra for same-day service. When David came home from work that evening, he couldn't get in. His key didn't work. He knocked on the door, confused. When I opened it, I didn't let him in. I just handed him a folder. Inside was a copy of the divorce papers I'd filed that afternoon and a printed stack of his messages with Michelle. "What is this?" he asked, his face going pale as he flipped through the pages. "Your stuff is in your car," I said calmly, even though inside I was shaking. "You can go stay at Michelle's place, or a hotel. I don't care, but you're not staying here." He tried to argue. He said it wasn't what it looked like, that I was overreacting, that we could work through this. He actually said that we could work through this, as if I was somehow part of the problem. I just closed the door. He stood outside for 20 minutes, calling my phone, banging on the door, trying to explain. I turned up the TV and ignored him. Eventually, he left. My lawyer said I did everything right. With the evidence I had and the fact that I could prove he was planning to leave anyway, I was entitled to the house and the majority of our assets. David tried to fight it, but his own messages condemned him. The divorce took 6 months to finalize. It was the hardest 6 months of my life. I cried every day. I questioned everything about myself. Was I not pretty enough? Not interesting enough? How had I not seen this coming? But I also grew stronger. I started therapy. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected. I took up painting again, something I'd loved in college but had stopped doing. I traveled alone for the first time. I learned to be happy by myself. David and Michelle stayed together for about 4 months after I kicked him out. Then she cheated on him with someone else. Karma, I guess. He tried to reach out to me after that, sent me long emails apologizing, saying he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. I never responded. That chapter was closed. It's been 2 years now. I'm in a much better place. I'm dating someone new, someone honest and kind, who treats me with respect. I still live in that house, but I've redecorated it completely. It doesn't feel like our house anymore. It feels like mine. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how I handled it, if I wish I'd confronted David differently, given him a chance to explain. And honestly, no. He'd been lying to me for 3 months. He'd been planning to leave me. He'd made his choice. I just made mine faster. To anyone going through something similar, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. And when you find out the truth, don't be afraid to walk away. You deserve better than someone who can lie to your face while destroying everything you built together. I'm Sarah, I'm 34 now, and this is my story of how I found my husband's secret messages and chose myself instead. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my channel for more real-life relationship stories. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. And please, share your own experiences in the comments below. You're not alone in this. We're all in this together, healing and growing stronger every day. Thank you for listening.